Let's go.
All right. We done did it. Against all odds. So I don't even know what this is going to be.
Me neither.
Or what it is.
We're just vibing.
Yeah.
Party.
Thought it would be fun to get Ryland here, Origami Angel, on the mic to just talk Gami, talk CI, just talk about our lives, you know.
Talk about 100.
Yeah, big
100 birthday.
Yeah. So, we'll see where it goes.
Let's see.
Yeah, we just had the acoustic show last night.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Felt good on the lanes at Flatbread in Brighton, Mass. And that I feel like that was a rare experience for you.
Yeah, truly. Yeah, we haven't ever really done many like acoustic shows like that. Especially or like solo shows like that. The only times ever have just been like, you know, friends, like local DIY shows and stuff like that. And just to like be in a place that isn't like a hometown.
Definitely.
That's definitely the first that's ever happened. Also just like doing it where there's like a lot of people.
Yeah.
Is the first time that's ever happened too. It was really cool.
Yeah. The setup was crazy.
Yeah. I didn't really know what to expect. Just cause like my mind's been in a million places post tour, just like a lot of other stuff. So it was kind of just like, oh yeah, this is like a cool thing to look forward to. Didn't even have like, not in a weird way, but like have much expectation because I wasn't really like anticipating. Like I just thought it was going to be a new fun experience, but it was, you know, then tickets went up, sold out pretty quick. I think everybody had a really good time. I had a really good time. Total request set list.
Yeah. No, that was badass.
That was really, really fun. I don't know. There's not many times that we get to do that, you know, like especially just the way that we're trying to go about stuff now is just like, all right, we're just going to try to do all this back catalog stuff that people love, like, but also try to, you know, put out, you know, play new stuff live.
Definitely. Yeah. And you were going into the back catalog last night.
Last night was so deep.
I was so surprised. I wasn't expecting you to be dusting off some of the relics that you did.
Yeah, there's some where I completely forgot how the song sounded. You know, like there's just some stuff, and it's kind of like just me realizing how deep the catalog is. You know,
I mean, it is crazy to me watching you take requests when there's literally like 70 songs people are pulling from at this point.
Yeah. I didn't. It kind of clicked for me at that moment where I was like, where someone said one, and I was like, I can't even envision the melody of that in my head. Just give me a second.
Yeah, I need to remember how that song even goes.
And it's like, okay, I think I can play it. You know, I would say like the one advantage is that like this is how most of those songs are written, was in that setting. You know, in that acoustic guitar, me by myself, obviously, but just like doing it into a voice memo, especially all that deep back catalog stuff, was just me on an acoustic writing those songs. So it kind of like, I guess it's the blood is still there. Like the foundation is still there, so I could tap into it without it being like, how would I do this acoustically? It's like, that's actually what I remember more. Because
it's like that's how it was born.
Yeah, honestly, like the songs are probably performed like quote unquote more like that because I was obsessing, especially in that time of my life when I was like 18, 19, obsessing over these songs and playing them through a million times, just writing them, just so I was like, oh, if I can find a part I don't like or find a new idea to highlight in these songs, that I would do that a million times. And then, you know, we would only play like 10 shows a year back then. So it's like, we'd practice, obviously we practiced a lot. But yeah, it was like, that is the foundation. So it was weird. Like some songs, like Thanks, I Hate It. I was like, wow, I haven't thought of that song since probably 2018.
I can't imagine that you've played that live in 5 years.
In years, yeah. 4 or 5 for sure. We definitely stopped playing it in like 2019 once we started doing, you know, a lot of other quick EPs here and there. So that was really fun. And then hearing people also excited about new tracks, and then like played an unreleased song. So that was really exciting. Just a big cornucopia of a history of Gami, you know?
Yeah, no, it was awesome. And I feel like it was definitely a special experience because I didn't know what to expect in general, where we tried to do like the bowling beforehand.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are the vibes going to be like at something like this, where we're like basically inviting fans in to just chill for like an hour and a half before playing a set.
Yeah.
And I think that I was surprised by how well it ended up feeling and going. And so
I had a feeling it was going to be really cool. Just because, I mean, like that setting, I feel like it's very welcoming to people kind of having a good time, but also being pretty chill and maybe like meeting new people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Experiencing that. I started scoring some bowling games. I think we played one, and then I was like, I don't think I can pull that off. Then like my arm's gonna get sore or something like
definitely.
that. But then I started scoring the games, meeting people,
and just being involved. I feel like that's given everybody the experience.
For sure.
Of like just getting to know you outside of just a quick 2 seconds at a merch table or something.
Yeah, straight up. 100%. Because I'm probably
cool.
more myself in the bowling environment than I am in the
music.
Absolutely,
yeah. Because I feel like you can get into the game a little bit, and then it shows your true colors.
My true colors is all like gamesmanship.
It's about playing the game,
and how it's played,
playing it the right way.
I don't even really know. There's this new type of bowling in Massachusetts, new to me.
Yeah, new to
candlestick,
for sure. Candlepin,
candlepin bowling. So I was like very eager to learn these rules and learn how to score it. I still think I might have messed up a couple of games, like when it comes to the spare rules. I know that 3 is 10 instead of a regular. If you get it 10 and 3, it's 10 instead of that. But that was pretty fun. Just getting to learn the game, score the game. Felt
just
like,
any variation on a classic game like that.
That
you've
it's a new
known
thing.
Your whole life.
It felt like it almost felt like going to a baseball game and scoring it,
true. That's true.
Which I used to do at minor league games. Bowie Bay Sox, shout-outs.
Damn, that's awesome. Yeah, it ended up being a great time. And it was all in the celebration of the Brightest days, which we got dropping basically a week from today, I'm pretty sure. Which is crazy.
A week from today.
Yeah.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, do you want to go into a little bit about how that all went, recording it with Drew and everything like that?
Yeah, for sure. Brightest Days, it's an idea that we've had for some time. It was one of those projects that just kind of got thrown together in the midst of early COVID. Just songs that ended up being part of a back catalog, and I think it was kind of a highlight for me of like a new thing I was trying out at the time, which is like, okay, I know in the past, this band has written a song where, okay, this is like a pop punky emo song with this, let's say, 24-hour drive-through. Oh, it's got this like Mario Kart bridge in the middle, and that's just the middle of the song. Or like, let's say Dr. Whomst. It's got this like riff but slower with the tappy breakdown thing at the end. That's just the end of the song. It was like a song, and then at the end or in the middle or some weird part, it's going to have like this breakdown or this bossa nova part, like a bossa nova core. This is like my first collection of songs, I felt like, or one of the first as a writer, where it was like, okay, these are all going to live in this world that's different from what we used to do, or different enough where it's like, okay, this is all going to fit in this one collection. It's not going to be like, apart from this sounds like something. Apart from this is like, let's really try to hone in on this, like, where it's like a track 3, where it's got more of a laid back, it's like very, it's almost got this like 70s rock summer feel. And it's like, let's hone in the whole song like that. And instead of what we used to do, it's almost like inverted, where it's like, and then we'll put the Gami part in the middle. A lot of these songs are like that. Thank You, New Jersey is like, we'll have this Gami part in the middle of this surf rock song. And then, there's other songs where it's not really like as much like that. Like a PG County Summer feels more traditional to like what we would do, maybe just with a more dedicated summery feel. But I guess the mindset was different coming into it. And then it's another one of those projects that kind of just gets like stuck in this loop of time. It's like, are we going to ever get to record this? This is May 2020 when I'm starting to do this.
Yeah. And the albums are stacking up at this point.
Yeah, just projects are stacking up.
This unreleased material.
LP2 is not even recorded yet. It's like, are we gonna get to record this? Are we gonna get to record LP2? Are we gonna get to play music ever again? So it kind of lived in that fog for a while, untouched. Just as we'll get to it when we get to it. We do LP2. We tour a little bit. We try to get back into this world, start getting a little bit more comfortable, and then it's like, okay, I guess this is really time. We did the EPs, and then it's like we can come back to our collection. We're looking at this back catalog of like what makes sense to work on and dive into at this point in time. And it kind of all signs pointed this, especially when we could get it out, how long it would be. It just like felt like a right place, right time for it.
Definitely.
We had met Drew on the Wonder Years tour, front of house person who was running front of house for Spanish love songs. He did the whole support part of that. He did us. He did Safe Face, so he was doing bands 1, 2, and 3. We met with Drew. There was a moment where he had to ride with us because Spanish Love Songs, their van broke down, and they were taking a truck or something, but they only had space for 6, and it was going to be still really tight, truck and a trailer. They had 7. Drew was their 7th. He said, hey, can Drew come with y'all? was just us, me and Pat, and then Dan, our tour manager and merch on that tour. And then we had enough space for Drew. It was going to be tight with no trailer back then.
But always down to make it work.
Always down to make it work, especially just to, the show must go on. Drew is a huge part of these first 3-band shows, especially what we're trying to do on that tour. And we talk about the variation of sound versus Safe Face, which is a 6-piece, 3-amp on the band, keys, drums, crazy vocals, switching up to 2-piece Gami running 4 amps on stage, switching up to Spanish love songs, all on effects units, and they got synth in the band and drums. It's like 3 such different things. Like we were like
every end of the spectrum.
Drew's got to come, or else these shows are going to get a little crazy. So yeah, we said that's fine. And the area of the world we happen to be going through is that stretch on the tour. Your Phoenix up to Denver to Salt Lake, all these overnights, these crazy parts we always talk about, the most treacherous times. In the middle of February, gets a little dicey.
Definitely. Great time to get to know somebody.
Great time to get to know somebody. You really know people at their primal, their most stripped down and raw versions of each other.
Just trying to get by.
We had a couple calm nights. Honestly, I think the first night Drew ever rode with us, there was events. Like the car was still on, the van was still on when I was trying to put gas into it, and like my brain was like, holy shit. I pull out the gas thing before it had stopped pumping gas, because I just don't want, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah. Didn't know what could happen. My brain is always the panic one in those situations. I'm like, let's just get out of this situation. I poured gas all over myself. Oh my God, dude.
Had to go in.
That's tough.
Yeah, I'm getting so off the rails here, but I'm just like recapping some stuff about like how we first met.
Absolutely.
And
those type of experiences lead to a stronger connection. In the long term,
for sure.
I think.
We know each other for a couple weeks at this point, but now I'm going into this. Where are we? Like it's like a Come and Go or something like that, or like a Casey's in Arizona, and it might be California. I'm honestly not sure. It's one of those two, and trying to do like a bird bath, like to get this gas off of me, and we have to drive a couple hours.
Yep,
and I'm doing the drive. I've taken most of my clothes off at this point. I had a hoodie on, a Gami hoodie, just because that's my thing on the tour. Get the Gami hoodie just so I don't have to bring on. I had to throw it away. Like, it was soaked. Had some shorts on.
Thankfully, you got 100 more hoodies in the trailer to pull.
True. Exactly. That was my exact thought. But I had to throw a whole good hoodie away. It was very, very... But, I mean, it was doused. Gasoline.
Gas. Yeah, where do you even put that?
Yeah. I walk around the wrong person, smoking a cigarette at the show.
Yeah.
I'm ablaze. So I'm going in this Come and Go, washing off and go get a coffee, and a coffee explodes on me too. Like I'm trying to put the lid on and it explodes. I think Drew was watching for that too, and he's like, damn, dude. So he's seeing me at my lowest here. But so we get on this drive, we're doing these night drives. I think there was one off day that we got together going to Denver that we got to explore each other's music taste. He showed me some of his band, Intervention. I really liked it. The album hadn't come out, but it was just songs that he had worked on as a producer and wrote as a writer. I was like, oh, this is really cool. This is like very cool, like 2000s rock thing. Lots of hooks, lots of production that I'm a fan of. And then we got to a certain point where he's like, all right, I'm going to play a record I like, because he had the aux. I'm charging my phone or something. I'm driving. He puts on the White Album by Weezer. The White Album is pretty much the only album I like by Weezer. There's a couple other in there, but I'm not much of a Weezer head, but I love the White Album. I would even consider it like a top 10 album in my life. Just because of the way I fell in love with it when I first heard it. It's a lot of the reason why Brightest is the way it is. It's a summer album. It's very like that. I heard that, and it's like their West Coast idealized thing, and it inspired me to be like, I want to make the East Coast version of that. Now, Brightest already exists at this point. Drew puts that on, and he's like, this is my favorite album of all time. And I'm like,
and you're just like, damn,
no shit. This is my maybe favorite. We connect on this level.
Connection.
I don't meet a lot of people where that's the Weezer that they like. Yeah. And there's people who are Weezer heads that love that stuff, but like never maybe their favorite. We link on that, and I'm like, oh, these kind of lines are like coming together, where it's like he's got this vision of his own band, he's got this production vision, he's got this spot in Florida where he's from, in Jacksonville, and he loves this record that inspired these songs that I wrote, and that me and Pat have been working on for like maybe a year at this point, or just had in the back pocket for a year. I guess we get off of that tour. There's some time to cook. We start kind of refining these songs. Me and Pat start practicing together, get them tight enough. We hit up Jake Jake Checkaway, who at the time was living in Old Forge, Pennsylvania, got some time to record the drums in there. So we did that. We crushed that over 2 days. Pat and Jake just nailed it. Ran a couple different drum kits. Got to even play with some different like drum effects type stuff. Really like drum production type stuff. And then handed that down. Jake did a really quick edit of all the drums just because 2 days later I drove down to Florida to track everything with Drew. The rest of the stuff, the bass, the guitar, the vocals, synth, and all this stuff. We had 10 days at his studio, or the studio that he works at, just 10 days straight. Never really had that experience before of doing the 10 days in one spot type of thing. It's always been 3 here, this there. Record your guitars at home, record vocals at home, especially coming off Gami Gang, you know?
Yeah.
Everything
at your house.
Everything in the bedroom.
Yeah.
You know? So
it was a nice experience.
It was a very new thing. And just, it allowed us to dive in a lot more, just like what we were talking about songwriting wise. It's like, okay, these are like supposed to be these specific vibes, like where the Gami is in the middle and everything else is kind of like surrounding it, you know? At least for certain songs, like track 4 is kind of like that. Track 2, track 3 is very, very much like that. Track 1 even, and that kind of like allowed this other element of these songs to come to life, where it's like, okay, we get to really dive in and make every tone on this record very different, every vocal delivery very different, every bass part. We were like really honing in on the finite details that would not pull the album together as much as make this song the vibe that we're coming into. And I guess that's also kind of how we started thinking about, it's like almost like a mixtape, like that someone would make for like a playlist for the summer. Like, okay, shit, this is our vacation vibe this year. We're going to throw these tracks together. It's almost like, oh, I didn't realize, but that's kind of what we did with this record. And that's kind of why we presented it in that way that it is.
Yeah, well, I think it was a great decision. I like how it all came together quite a bit.
Yeah, it is a stars aligning type of thing. First thing we ever did with Drew, and he's now, he's ran sound for us on 2 other tours. We've done a lot of work with him, and he's great. And Jake killed it on the drums too. It's just kind of like a meeting of the minds,
definitely,
of audio engineering and production.
And it has to be awesome going from like meeting Drew on the tour and then getting to see what he's capable of doing sound for you the entire tour, and then getting to like also get into the studio with him. Yeah,
100%. Really cool. It's really sweet. And then obviously it like furthered our relationship, just working with our front of house engineer, but also a friend, a good friend of ours. It's like, okay, I got to spend that 2-week period with him where basically we're just together working on music, doing this thing. It never really felt like work. We're doing that, getting our 10 hours in, and then going to do something else, eat some food, like all these great spots in Jacksonville. Shouts to Bold Birds in Jacksonville. That's the spot. Nashville Hot Chicken. So we were just like, we're able to hang out for these 2 weeks and making this stuff, and got to stay at his place. He was kind enough to let me live there for a little bit, for 2 weeks, the temporary Jacksonville resident. But yeah, it was just a great foundation for our relationship. 2 months later, we embarked on our first headlining tour, and then that was another thing. And then it's just it's been great to see this like 1.5-year progression, basically of like starting as a couple people like me, Pat, and Drew didn't know each other. Well, obviously me and Pat and Drew, we didn't know Drew at all.
Yeah.
And now it's like, this is one of our best friends. This is the dude that we can't imagine touring without or recording without. It's just like he's going to be in the mix just because of what he's done. Been able to do for this band. Is like we got
an instant part of the family.
That. Yeah, exactly. Just another member. And
that's dope.
It's been great. It's just a very lucky and happy surprise for us.
Yeah, that is awesome. And yeah, he crushed it. Jake crushed it. The mixtape came out fire.
Yeah,
and
100%.
I feel like it really did capture everything that you were describing.
Yeah,
of like the inversion of some Gami stuff, but there's always the Gami in there.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's kind of what it was really cool with, is like getting to work with Jake, who's done a lot of stuff in our back catalog, and then also working with Drew, who hasn't done anything for us, is kind of like that also kind of in a weird way helped that inversion happen, where it's like we're always going to have that roots, right? Especially when drums are such a big part of this song. It's like we have Jake there who's worked on everything, everything since Doing the Most. And now we get this fresh take on Gami and Drew, and especially when these songs are kind of a fresh take on Gami, it's like you get this grounding thing, especially in an instrument that grounds so much of music together. And then on these melodical, what differs melodically from regular Gami stuff, we're able to have a completely fresh mind for that stuff. And I love how that came together too.
Yeah, no, that is awesome. And just mentioning Doing the Most there, good shout out there. Last night really got me thinking at the show with you dusting off some of those songs. It was reminding me, and you also were recounting the story of how Ruby had premiered on the CI channel. And so it had me thinking back on, that was, I feel like that was probably the second time I'd met you when we recorded Ruby.
Probably the second or third, because we had just met at Fest before that. And because that was like 3 days after Fest.
That's true, yeah.
So like we were all down there hanging out at Fest for
and
that
was
while.
like 2019 or
2018. 2018, October 2018.
And so I think
I think we met on, that might have been it.
Damn. Okay. Because originally I was thinking we met at Pie Shop on the CTS tour, but then this is like a year prior.
After, yeah. This is like about a year and a half, or a half a year prior to that.
Yeah. I always had a lot of respect for how that went down, because I probably met. So we met at Fest. Yeah. And then 3 days later,
I want to say we met before Fest though. I feel like there was
maybe just at a show or
you're
something.
On a tour.
Yeah.
Maybe, and like we linked for a second.
Like a show or something.
Yeah, like maybe a Prince Daddy thing or something like that.
Yeah.
Before the CTS tour, I feel like there was a venue I met you at.
Actually, I feel like there's a Pictures of Vernon show that I met you at, but I don't know if that was I don't know if that was the same.
That was before. That was May 2018.
Okay.
The house show.
And then at Fest.
Yeah, so we had that
year.
Yeah, so it was like the second/third time.
Yeah.
Because to me it was like the same day as Fest, because I went right back to my day job. When I was working in school for a little bit, right after Fest, and then it was like the next day
we were in
that
town.
Whole tour was over on Hidden DC9.
Yeah, and that always really stuck out to me, because we hadn't started working together yet, and I had the idea to do the acoustic session, and I think that was the time where you were like a teacher, right? Or
I was
like
a teaching assistant. Yeah,
yeah, and so you had just done like a full day.
Yeah.
Came to the venue with your acoustic, and you were like, where are we going to do this session? And I was like, I don't know, like just around here. And we just set up like in like this like small plaza.
Yeah. It's right at a metro station, the African American Civil War Memorial.
And it was a beautiful area, sunsets going down. And I'm just like, are you down to perform like on the sidewalk while everyone's walking home from work, walking by? And and I'm pretty sure you one-taked each song.
Yeah, we did too, right? Thanks, I Hate It, and Ruby.
Yeah. And one take, no errors from what I remember. And I'm just thinking like, damn, this fucking 20-year-old kid's coming out here like to just like in the middle of the city ready to rock.
Yeah.
And it always stuck out to me like how just having the confidence to do that. I mean, it's hard enough to get on stage in a venue where people come to see you, let alone set up shop like outside on something that is going to be recorded, and you might not, like, if you really didn't want to go up, it wouldn't have gone up. But like, for sure. You might not want to say like, oh, like I didn't feel good about that, let's not post it or whatever. And so that was always an impressive feat.
Yeah, it was fun for sure, just because like at that point, like I was, like you said, we haven't worked together. I'm like a CI head at this moment. Like a lot of bands in that area, like all our contemporaries and the friends of like the sides of what we were. It's like, yo, what's going down on this label is really cool. Obviously, like the tour that's coming through is like big. Going seeing all these bands at Fest, that there's like right in that same like 5-day window. We're all looking up so much to like what's going on with this label, what's going on with these bands. So like when you hit me up, I was like, of course, like I'm gonna figure out a way to do this. Yeah, I gotta leave for work at 4:45 in the morning. I think maybe I was a little later that day, but I had the guitar on the bus, on the train, on the other train. No, I guess one train and then the other bus, and it's crazy commute. And I'm like, whatever, I'll like leave it in like our break room. So that whole day, I was just like, went about my day. And like I said, I was on the end of this fest bender, which was like me getting home super early in the morning. I had a day off, but like just this recovery back to that like 15-hour block I would do every
weekend
day.
Into a very long day.
Yeah, very long day. But the whole day I was like, oh, I'm going to get to do this thing for like this label I really, really like. And just get to like, we had just linked. So I think we talked about it at Fest. Like, oh, would you do this in the DC show? It's like, of course. I'll do it right now, but let's do it at the DC show when I can get my guitar and do this. And I'm looking forward to this thing the whole day, running aftercare. I'm just like, yeah, this is crazy. But like, I'm going to be doing this whole thing later, taking the train again in to see y'all. And then it was fun. Like, I can't remember if it was retirement party or someone. I left the guitar back behind the merch table. Yeah, just to watch the show, and then met up with my friends at the show. Because the whole thing, we all loved all these bands on this tour. We all loved, what was going down, especially with the label at the time. It's like it was that just felt cool. Like, I got to brag to my friends and be like, yo, I just did an acoustic session with Jake from CI.
Damn,
everyone's like, no way. When's it going up? So that was always like a really, really fun thing. And like at the time I wasn't thinking about like, oh, it's crazy like to do this, or like wow, I'm on a gauntlet here. I was just like, I have to, like this is like some labeled, some just like this culture I think is awesome. And of course I'll do whatever. I'll do it in the street. I do it on the sidewalk if you ask me to.
Well, I'm glad it worked out, because it is really fun, especially now after like 5 releases later. We're just looking back on just your entire evolution as a musician.
Straight up.
I'm really glad to have those memories of like just this kid just being down to fucking just do their thing,
for sure, bro.
In whatever situation. And I've seen you do your thing in quite a few situations now, and it's awesome to see.
Thank you, man. Yeah, that was fun. That was a nice era, looking back on it.
No, that was definitely a special era.
I remember a lot of like the pre-working relationship between CI and Gami, where it was just like the fan relationship of us to y'all, and then eventually the mutual fan relationship. But like, I still remember, it's funny, we were talking about the job. The first day that we had training for that job, I was in, I always have a crazy sleep schedule. It's one way or the other, right? It's never been normal. It's never been 11 p.m. to 7:30 or whatever a normal human being would do. I can't even do the math for that. I can do the math for my crazy one. I can do the math for 4:30 to 12:30.
Yeah. The one we've been rocking the last few days.
Yes, for sure. Well, yeah. Actually, yesterday was like more like 3 to 1. That was a crazy recovery day.
Yeah, it was.
But so I was on that, and I was in this transitional period trying to get off of that, because this job was requiring me to be on the complete opposite, which was my 9:30 to 3:30 or 4, which that was pretty much my standard for a year. Even into touring, I couldn't break it. So I was on some crazy shit, but that was after that job. We started training. We had like a 2-week training period. And the first day I had done that, like the go to bed at 8:30 to think, I'd stayed up the whole day before it just because I knew I had to make some changes. I did that.
The reset.
Reset's never good.
No,
and even
then,
this is a 19 to 20-year-old body doing the reset. I was probably 20 when I started this. And that's probably when you can do it.
Yeah. But it's still never a good time.
It's still bad. Like, I can't do the reset, and I've tried. But, yeah, so I do that, and I wake up this one day to a bunch of stuff I missed the night. We had just put out the Doing the Most EP probably like a week before that. And it's a tweet from @CIREX and a tweet from @P Daddy and the Hyena, Prince Daddy and the Hyena. Both being something along the lines of like, I think yours is like, this is my endorsement of the band Origami Angel. And it's got ROM Hack, track 2 of that thing. And, at this time we're been like 800 monthly listeners. It's like a completely different world than what I think a lot of people have known us to live in. But like mentally I'm still there a lot of time, like looking at that stuff. But so I can remember exactly what that felt like. And seeing Prince Daddy, a band that I looked up to a lot, and just, seen them do some really, really cool shit, and have seen them do a lot of cool shit since. But a band that inspired a lot of the band's ethos, the sound, like, it's like, oh shit, like, this is crazy. And that was the first day that I had started the training for that job, and I went in feeling like a G, I went in feeling like,
that's
damn,
dope.
These this band and this label that I think is the coolest shit in the world right now
are listening
just
to what
shouted
I'm doing.
it out.
Yeah.
And I think y'all were on tour together.
I remember the exact night we were in Seattle at it's crazy because I have like no memories from these tours.
Yeah.
But I remember we were in Seattle at James from Retirement Party's parents' house. We were staying there, and I was playing the new EP because it had like just come out that day, I think.
Yeah.
Doing the Most, and I loved ROM Hack.
Yeah.
And I was just playing it like multiple times, and I was like, this is crazy. And I remember everyone being like, oh, okay, like, because I think we all had been aware of the band from Quiet Hours.
Yeah.
But I think that was where we were just like, oh, this is like different. Because I feel like it was really Doing the Most that like started what I feel is like the Gami,
I would
like
agree.
the true sound
I'd
of
agree
what
100%.
Gami is. And so I remember, I just remember like there being a part in ROM Hack that we're like, damn, this is different. This is sick.
Yeah, it was definitely like the start, especially that song was like, okay, this is kind of like a way we can go about it. It was kind of like me and Pat sort of putting it together of like what we could both do for the band to make it unique and have its own voice. And I think, we really found it on that EP. And specifically that song was like where we really just both honed in on something for the time. Like that was the coolest thing we had done. And yeah, I remember that. And then like Corey was like, yo, the last song, or Thanks I Hate It, is like got the part and it's sick or something like that. And I was like, wow, like I never thought I'd ever hear these words or see these words from people that I really, really look up to. And I always stuck with that memory where it was like, all right, number one, going into this, like I'm about to do this crazy training, like seminar for 2 weeks. Doesn't matter.
Very
this
intensive.
is cool.
Yeah. That's awesome.
This is awesome. Like no matter what, I got something looking back on this. I'm writing other songs at the time, like which ended up being like on the split. And I'm like, it gave me confidence to do stuff like that. It gave me confidence I was writing Gen 3, like to like be like, oh, this is cool. Like this is actually cool. Like this isn't just something that I want to be cool. Like there's people who I trust who think it's cool.
Yeah,
so
that is awesome.
Some extra confidence and then going about that. And it seems like such a long time from that to when we did the acoustic section. It was really like 3 months. Which now feels like the snap of the fingers to me. But back then I was like, that's like a whole era of my life. We come and do the acoustic session, do that, premiere Ruby that way, release Ruby a couple months after. And then, we do Gen 3, we tour off of that. And then we do Somewhere City, which you end up re-releasing and like doing a ridiculous amount of vinyl for within that year window. So that's really just like within a year and a half of like,
really is crazy.
Of really linking together. It's like all this stuff that was so foundational to me at the end of that same year that some of that stuff came out. And it's like, oh, we're, signing a deal. This is Counterintuitive Records. It's like, and it felt like a journey at the time, but now I'm looking back and it was quick.
It was quick. Yeah.
It was very quick.
I feel like there was even maybe some more time before we met because to me, it never felt like a relationship of like me being a label and you being a fan because we were like on Minecraft.
Yeah, we're playing Minecraft
I feel
together.
like that's the memories of like, that's why I was having trouble remembering when we met because I felt like we'd
spent a lot of time together.
Spending so much time together for like, probably like maybe 6 months.
Couple months. Yeah. It's a good amount of time there where it's like, before when I was just doing the community college thing and before I'd linked into that next like serious time intensive job instead of just a side thing, it was like, we're just like hitting Minecraft after classes for me, like 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. You know, I start the cycle over the next day, working on that with some other homies. And it's just like, it's sick that you think that wasn't the relationship because I was for sure just trying to play it cool. Like until there was a certain level where I was like, okay, we're chill. But like I was like, so like, I don't want to be the fanboy, Like
for sure.
I'll be that.
I feel like especially at like 18 or 19, it's a lot easier to feel like that side of things. Yeah. Where you're like, oh, this is somebody that's like done stuff that I want to do.
Yeah.
Like go on tours and stuff.
100%. So I was just trying not to come across as like a Punisher, a fanboy type thing. I was like, I gotta play it cool 100%. And then
just gotta build this house.
Gotta build a house in Minecraft and get on this stuff. And then, I mean, that was great though. Cause I mean like great game, got to link up several a night and, have a really great experience and just a foundation for, when we linked later, it's like, this isn't like a first time. This is like a first time in real life. It's like, So we had that whole year. We had a whole other year of just like kind of putting I guess I had like 4 months of me post that job, grinding our heels into the Gami thing for Somewhere City. And then, we link over, like signed to CI to do some really, really cool shit with that record. And then we were touring off of it, and then we were about to do a headliner, and then the world shut down.
Yeah. But then we kind of got back to our roots.
Exactly.
And then I feel like I never even realized how full circle doing the Minecraft vinyl really was because...
Full circle. That's where we met.
That's where we met. And then, damn, that's cool.
Yeah. So coming back doing that, it's just like... So that was like a moment, too, where it's like... There was so much cool stuff I'd seen CI do, like coming up. Even if it's less like a fanboy thing, just some like this is a cool thing I love that I don't see a lot of other labels doing, you know, whether it's like the 420 split coming out of nowhere type stuff, or like just certain aspects of like what's going down, whether it's the CTS like dropping the exclusive vinyl at midnight that one night. I remember I was tracking for another band. I was tracking for Commander Salamander when that dropped, and I was like, I have to get this. Like when the first song, when it just comes out, it's like just seeing cool things like that happen that are like not traditional to like the standard record release. I was like, this is like what I love about music. This is what I love about art, is like challenging and like finding new ways to interact with the community. It's bridging that gap of like the way we used to do it before the internet, you know, the way people were doing it.
For
like,
sure.
Now how we're doing it, how do we make it still like, you know, still feel like a community and less of just like this cycle of just pushing people. And it's like stuff like that. I love it. When we did the Minecraft thing, that was another like one of those whirlwind moments where it's like stayed up all night doing it because I procrastinated on it for such a long time.
Which is insane because it's like it's a fully realized vision. And so the concept of you piecing together like a 25-minute like catalog remix the night before is
that's called mania right there.
It's mania and a testament to you know, when you put your head down,
for sure,
what you can get done. So
that was a crazy time for sure, because I did it all the night before, and then I was like, all right, gotta get some sleep, because I remember like I was back with my parents for the pandemic, and especially in that moment, like I was doing it, all the quiet stuff, the whole remixes and all that, like just the beats, the acoustic guitar, I did all that stuff, like DI'd in, and then like I can't remember why, but I like stayed up until like 6 or 7. I mean, I know why I was doing it, but my dad was awake for a second. He was upstairs and he was like, "Why are you still up?" And I was like, "Why are you still up?" You know, it's just that moment. And then I was like, "Yeah, I just like did all this like music stuff that's about to happen tomorrow." And I was like, "And I'm about to wake up in like 3 hours and mix it." So I did that, like my little nap in, went up, did a couple last vocal things, mixed the whole thing, printed it down, and it was funny because I literally did it in the sequence that it's in. Like I was just like boom, boom, boom. Oh, I did this 24-hour drive-through remix a month ago. I'm putting that here. Let me do a few more, and then do the Greenbelt Station thing, premiere that, and it just all came together like another snap of the fingers, and then like it's premiering, and I'm like sleep deprived while it's premiering. Yeah. Seeing people react to it, it's like very cool. The whole Summit Shack thing that they put together was awesome. There ended up being a very, very nice moment. And then get the group chat text is like, what if we did vinyl of this right now? Just send me the master file. That's you saying it to us. And I was like, let's do it. Next day, I think it's up. Maybe that night or something like that. And like, it was a moment like that where I was like, yo, we're finally one of the moments here, which I think we had been like with other drops before, but it was like Gen 3 stuff. But like, working on something like that.
Had we done the box set for Gen 3 at that point?
I'm actually not sure.
Because I feel like that's definitely a moment, because we hadn't done any box sets or anything.
Yeah, and I think that was after.
Okay.
The Minecraft thing, I think, was like the second thing we ever did after the Somewhere City thing. So it was like,
that's crazy.
Just being one of those moments again.
Like like having it happen in the moment. That is awesome. And I feel like that, like, I still love how their songs came out.
They're cool.
And I feel like the hardest part about that is the artwork is just, it's so bad that I think that's why people don't recognize it for being as good as it is.
It was like, at the moment, it was like, let's just use this art. Something that got thrown together.
No, and because it's funny. It's funny bad.
It's funny bad on purpose.
And I was totally down for that. Yeah. And I respect the decision. But then now in the hindsight, like when people see it in the catalog,
they're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. And I feel like it's the type of thing where somebody that loves Somewhere City would love these versions, and they just don't get to hear them because they won't let themselves for some reason.
That's like I guess the one downside of thinking in 5-second increments, but
it was worth it for what it is, and we don't need everyone in the world to hear it, and maybe they'll discover it at a time where
they'll find it
like it'll be more valuable to them, so
they'll find it. That's the real future. Someday we'll just run those songs as an interlude in between like 2 sets or something like that, on some like playing 2 full albums.
Yeah,
and
like people are like, this sounds just like Gami.
Yeah, wait, that is a Gami song. Wow. Damn. Who did that? It's us.
It's us. We did that.
It was in the lab, baby.
Cream's going up. Damn. Yeah, that'll be a good way to bring it back.
Yeah, honestly, it'd be kind of fun. But yeah, just thinking back, it's like all those moments we've just done stuff like that, whether it's like the EPs surprise dropping and stuff like that. Just there's always been an inspiration of what I was seeing coming up, especially from CI. And then like, it's cool now to be like, okay, we've been a part of this like for a significant amount of time now. I think we've probably, if you count Summer City, if you count Repressing Gen 3, that's 14 tracks there. LP2, you get to 34. Both EPs, that's 40. Brightest Days is 48. And then if you count the Minecraft stuff, however many tracks, like 6 tracks, it's 54. It's about to be like 54 individual finished
that is wild.
Music that are coming out on CI.
Did you count Quiet Hours too?
I guess, we repressed that. Yeah.
Quiet Hours,
so run another 7 at 61.
Damn, that...
Right? Am I doing my math wrong?
I mean, that tracks to me. And the fact that you just have that deep a catalog is crazy.
Yeah, I think the math's right. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the math's right.
40,
unless we double counted Quiet Hours, but I don't think we did.
I don't think we did. Yeah, it's a crazy amount, you know?
Damn. A lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
To look back. I like what you said about like the just like challenging what typical campaigns are. I feel like that's the thing that I never. It usually has never been my idea, and I've just been willing to say yes to it, and that's where like the community aspect of the label has made it like what it is. Whereas something like the 420 split, where like people could look at the 420 split and be like, that's so sick that CI put this split together. When in reality, it was like, we're at South by and Prince Daddy and Pictures of Vernon are about to do a split together. And then we're like, that's where I had just signed Mom Jeans. And then we're all like becoming a squad at this thing. And then they're like, oh, do you guys want to be on it too? Like Prince Daddy's asking Mom Jeans, do you guys want to be on it too? And then they're just all coming to me like, hey, we're going to have 6 songs. Will you put it out or whatever? Yeah. And then I just get to say yes. And so it's like, but then like the culture around like collaborative efforts like that is what I felt like makes the label so strong. And so it's cool to just be around people that wanted to do stuff like that. And then you coming up with like wanting to like just do like a box set or like Prince Daddy wanting to release I Lost My Life before we announced the record, just by dropping like the YouTube video and stuff like that. I feel like it's just always been like inspiring that people want to do stuff outside the box, and then that's what makes it cool.
Yeah, that is like kind of, I guess at its root is like, it isn't as much of what you're doing in terms of like coming up with the creative rollout maybe in most situations, but it's like just being the one to say yes, or just being the one who's like, why not? You know, like it's your music, like let's try this shit out. Let's see if it sticks. Let's see how we can do this. And I just think that freedom, even if you don't end up going with it, just the freedom and respect there is like, just like, I think it's what makes and ties together like the DIY ethos of like how most, if not all of these bands came up, and tying that together with what we're trying to do on a different level, just getting it out to more people and having it be more heard, having shows be bigger and stuff like that. And like having that grounding thing, to me, it's really, really important just to like what we do. And the events like last night is just like so important to what I feel like we are as a band. Where I think that having that grounding idea of like, okay, well, we have this freedom here. We're not pressed to do anything. Not that we would do this, but like if we want to just drop a record, surprise, no rollout, no nothing. Like I know that that's something that like if I was so tied to that, I know that you wouldn't be like,
it would never be a deal breaker. Yeah,
maybe you're like, let's not do it. But if I was like,
maybe present an alternative idea. But at the end of the day,
if this is how it has to be.
Yeah,
it's like that's how it's gonna have to be, and it's just cool to have that. And as well as like the alternative opinions. I think that's how you come together and make something that's really solidified and can stand the test of time.
I appreciate that a lot. And I feel like when I look at stuff as a fan, I want to see fun stuff like that. So, yeah, when like Pictures of Vernon comes and says we want to drop our debut LP on April Fool's Day and not tell anybody what it was and ask all our friends to post a secret thing to get people to order it. I feel like that is what makes like it fun. And
I agree.
And just special like to see from a fan perspective.
Straight up.
And so definitely always down to do stuff like that.
100%.
Because it's sick. Yeah, and like last night I feel like it has been a minute since we've gotten to do any sort of like community show, because we had like the Auto Garage East Coast Customs for a while,
Yeah.
which I don't think Gami got to play at
Never
because
did.
that was like
A lot of friends played there, though.
Yeah, that was like 2018, and we only got to do like maybe 10 or 12 shows there, but that was like really important to the culture of the label at the time,
100%.
being just a place where the community can have a really special experience, like seeing these sick shows in like an auto shop.
Yeah,
Shout out Sana for
I mean,
that.
some of that stuff is so iconic. Like I always think of the video as a Caden from
Yeah,
Cool Kids
Caden
climbed
climbing
up
the pole
up the
during
thing at the Maxiel show.
Yeah.
Like I'll always remember that. Just like it's such a part of the culture of like what the label was doing at the time, and like it's continued, right? Like that's forever. That's on a shirt, right?
Yeah, they did shirts of that, of like the of Caden hanging from the ceiling,
Yeah.
and then there's been numerous times also that people have hit me up like, can you send me that Maxiel video? I'm trying to like submit them for a tour. And,
word.
And I feel like this will be like a good thing, and I'm like, that's so sick. That,
Yes,
like,
straight up.
That people like could use this as like proof of like, this band fucking rocks. Like,
Yeah.
you should bring them on tour.
Straight up.
Yeah, and so it's been almost 5 years since we've had a community space at all,
Right.
and so we're grateful that Flatbread let us in there to do something special there.
For sure.
And it's not quite the full band experience that hopefully someday we'll be back to in maybe a space of our own or something, but it's cool to be able to open up something like that where you can just have community.
100%. And I think that's like what I really appreciate just about like what the label is about is like it's never just going to be that we're releasing this digital, vinyl, whatever, band go, do your tour, whatever, we'll talk later type of thing, or like we'll crunch numbers. It's like having the, paying the respects to what you've come up in around the Boston DIY scene, about Massachusetts DIY, and just like wanting to have a space that you can run CI shit for, some CI bands, but also like local bands, and having spots that, kids can get to a show. For sure there's a East Coast Customs show that was someone's first show that they ever went to, just because maybe they like Maxiel or Pool Kids or something like that, and they come out and they see that for the first time and they're blown away by this community, this environment, and just like, I didn't know shows could happen here.
Of DIY, like outside of like a 500 cap venue.
Exactly. Just like the like someone being blown away by that experience. It's like, okay, I want to do this more, and the ripple effect that has is exactly why these bands exist, know, and that's like, to me, something that is so important to just have in this scene. And it like, even just being a part of a label that's the ethos of, is just really, really, really important to me.
Hell yeah.
And something that I think you should be really, really proud of. And like, I'm proud to just be a part of it at all, you know?
Thank you, dude. Yeah, I definitely, like as it grows and as I get older and want to just have more comfort and obviously like build the label into something that makes me more money and makes me more comfortable and like is something that's able to like be sustainable for my life. I feel like I still want to have that core of like, it always just doing epic shit is always the more important factor. Yeah. And I feel like we could have done a Brightest Days release show in Boston where we made triple the money and something like that, but it was cool to get to do like something where like 60 people got to hang out and bowl and like have you as their scorer and like get to like chop it up with you for like 15 minutes and actually see like a glimpse into like your actual personality. And like I feel like that type of stuff is just really hard to find, and I hope that we get to do more of it, and I'm sure you'll be a huge part of all of that. Yeah,
straight up. I'll do it whenever. It'd be amazing just to see anyone doing that and just being able to be in that environment. I can already see like everybody else on the lanes, all the homies, you know what I'm saying? With the acoustic guitar.
I would love to work through just one by one and see if we can get everybody on there. Because I feel like it really was a special thing. Like looking out, it's like 2 floors. I'm sure anybody listening, you'll probably be able to find some videos because we got some stuff we'll put on YouTube. But just like 2 floors with people sitting on chairs on the bowling lanes, and then like standing room looking at a balcony down to like just like Ryland right in the center of the lanes. And so it was really unlike anything I've seen. Yeah, most unique show that we've ever played for sure. Damn, that is awesome. Well, I feel like we probably crushed it right now, right? Yeah, we probably dominated it. I think so too. And we got Brightest Days coming out a week from today. Maybe people will be listening to it already by the time that this drops. Who knows what this will even be?
Yeah,
but,
we don't know the ETA yet. 100th release for CI. That's
100th
crazy.
release,
how do you feel about that? Like, how do you feel about what does that like? Is it an arbitrary number to you, or does the 3 digits just like feel different?
It feels different because like I look at a lot of the labels that I like, and there's only so many that get to that point, and so it's just like I'm just so grateful that it's worked out and that we were able to, and that I can look back at 100 releases and like every single one of them.
Straight up.
And like just the fact that like 80 of them are on vinyl, which is like what I set out to do from the start, was just make vinyl for bands. Yeah. And so I feel like it's definitely probably the most rewarding like feeling I've felt just from looking at the catalog as a whole. And it is cool that we had Somewhere City as 50 and Brightest Days now is 100.
Straight up.
And so looking forward to 150 as well. You know, who knows if we'll get there, but
no, it's very achievable. I think
I hope so.
To me, just in terms of like the number itself, I feel like, and can't remember if this is how you do your catalog, but a lot of labels do a lot of like what I've seen is like whatever, if it's CI Rex 001 00 blank, and you get to the double digits 007 075, right? That zero is always in the front.
Yep.
And it's kind of like crazy to see that there's the possibility of having a CIR 117.
Yeah.
You know, like that is like that zero's been that third digit for such a long time that it's almost like
8 years.
It's so familiar to you to have that, and now to see that difference is like, to me, that is I know it's like, you know, it's just a number, and our human brains love, you know, it's base 10 digit, obviously, but like, I don't know, I just think it's so massive, you know, to just be like, wow, this has a whole history. That third digit's been unoccupied for such a long time.
Yeah, and no, it's cool, and especially seeing stuff now, like we're with unreleased stuff up to like 115 or something, and so it's cool just seeing it keep on going, and just like imagining, like thinking back on all the awesome times that I'll cherish for the rest of my life from 001 to 100, and then thinking of hopefully a lot of great times to come, 100 to 200.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So super stoked.
100th birthday.
100th birthday.
1 century.
1 century, yeah. It's cool. But yeah, dude, thank you for doing this.
Of course. Thanks for putting this together. Thanks for the show last night. Thanks for hosting me here for a few nights.
Absolutely,
It's been a dream.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. And yeah, maybe you'll be seeing some more stuff like this at some point. Not really sure what this should look like, but if anybody has any ideas on stuff that would be interesting to hear people talk about, maybe we could do that.
Let the man know.
Let him know. All right. And that's that. Bye-bye.
Bye, folks. Let's go.